time for fifth quarter on KALB. Sponsored by Christus St. Francis Cabrini Hospital.
About a quarter of the way through the season, it's time to separate the pretenders from the contenders. Gina has impressed the most with 2 giant wins in our games of the week. Will a new turf field for the Ash Trojans be the turnaround that they need to get their first win of the year? And only 3 first-year head coaches remain unblemished, but one streak will end tonight in a battle of undefeateds between Grant and Marksville. Who will reign after week 3? It all begins now on the fifth quarter. And that is the story of the night. Local rivalries getting renewed here in week 3. Welcome to the fifth quarter. I'm Dylan Domingue.
And I'm Nigel Dyson.
Mayor Margaret Ellison will join us in just a bit. It's our first true rivalry week of the season. And look, it did not disappoint. And for our game of the week, it is the oldest rivalry in Rapides Parish. As always, our cool game of the week is sponsored by Southern Air. For week 3, we'll head to the reservation as Pineville comes to town to take on Tioga. Both teams have been talking trash to one another like Colorado State to Deion Sanders this week, but Tioga put those shades on and blocked it out. Tioga has won the last 3 games in the rivalry. They would make it a 4th tonight. In the first, the Indians' first drive, Case Malone hands it off to Travis Adams, and you can't have a game at the reservation without going ahead and reserving a table yourself. And Adams has his for 6, 47 yards. Tioga up 7-0 early.
I like the yellow gloves.
Yeah, the Rebels pushing it down the field, now inside the 5. Jalen Woody hands it off. The ball comes out. Maximus Cadamus recovers it at the 1. Tioga ball. Indians couldn't capitalize on it. Still a 7-0 game. Rebels trying to get something. Woody looking for a man instead. We'll find a man in a black jersey, and that's not a good sign for Pineville. Jacorian Norris says, not in my house. A pick 6, 48 yards to the house. That would be his first of 2 pick 6s in this game.
This kid's on a tear.
It's ridiculous. Tioga has now 6 defensive touchdowns this year.
Wow.
They go and pitch the shutout over Pineville, 35-0. And for more from our game of the week, we head to the reservation now, live with Mary Margaret Ellison. That's where we find her after Tioga shuts out Pineville, 35-0.
Yeah, Dylan, I can't wait for you all to see the rest of the highlights because Jacorian added 2 more interceptions, especially he's just so special. Coach Cook talked after the game about how special he is and that they're spoiled with him. But of course, I know we talked to Coach Cook earlier, and he said that Jacorian's actually up for Athlete of the Week for the state, that he's impressing everyone in the state. But of course, now the Indians have added 2 more touchdowns to their 4, so now they have 6 on the defense. And of course, to continue to talk about Jacorian, he literally had half of Tioga's points, so 35 points. We also have to talk about Travis Adams. He also had a great night. He started the Indians off with getting them on the board, and he also finished with 2 touchdowns.
The Ash Trojans look back to get in the...
Yeah, you're good? Yeah.
Okay. The Ash Trojans look back to get on the winning side of things this week as they hosted the Nat Central Chiefs. The Trojans came into this week's 0-2, and let's just say from the jump, they said it's personal. After revealing the brand new turf, Ash broke it in right away with a huge gain by Darius Washington, and then would hit Washington again on a jet sweep for the first 6 points of the game. This kid would have quite the day, and so would the Ash Trojans.
I like the yellow jerseys. It's new for Ash.
Switching it up. Ash would go up big in the first quarter, up 22-0, but Coach Bachman and the company were not satisfied as they kept their foot on the gas as they fumbled the ball and recover it. But the highlights would not end there for Ash as Feaster lobs it up. Look at that grab. Wipe your nose, young fella. Wipe your nose, young fella. At the goal line, JT Lindsay frolics into the end zone with ease. Trojans up big, 42-0 at the half, and would win the game 56-14.
All Ash now in Dry Prong, a battle of undefeated teams with first-year head coaches Marksville and Grant. First drive, Tigers milk 8 minutes off the clock here on 4th and goal in the red zone. Elijah Murray rolling right, but throwing left would fall incomplete. That would have them set up inside the 5. Instead, Grant runs down the field. And if you haven't watched this freshman play yet, number 1, Ahmad Seitz, remember the name, be a problem for years to come. That sets up a QB power by lights, camera, action, Jackson Hedrick. Cougars go up 7-0. It's now 10-0, but right before the half, Marksville gets things clicking. You keep using that Murray magic eventually, it'll pay off. This keeps the drive alive. And just a few plays later, Marksville will cap it off with a play from Grant's book, a QB power with Murray, and it's a one-score game. But check this out. A wild, late game. And look, a big congratulations to Coach Josh Harper and Marksville winning this one 34-33 in overtime on the road. The Tigers are 3-0. Some other big scores from around the area. Peabody drops their first game of the season on the road. And Leesville, much needed bounce back win 30-13 against Iowa tonight. Still putting more to action come here on the 5th quarter. Stay with us.
You're watching the 5th quarter on News Channel 5. Let's go!
Fifth Quarter Scoreboard is sponsored by Antune Hospitality Group's family of restaurants, including Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen and Outlaws Barbecue. Louisiana's most wanted, always the winning call.
Taking you up to Gene as the Giants look to improve to 3-0 going up against St. Frederick. Both teams go scoreless to the first, but in the second, Gina doesn't do this often, but when they do, it works like a beauty. Zach Barker puts it right in the breadbasket to Braden Oaks, who takes this one 63 yards to the Oaks for a score. Next drive, push deep in their own territory. Gina's Dylan Davis. I love the name, but I love the play even more. He comes up with the pick, puts the ball back in the hands of the offense, and they know what to do with it because you hand the ball off to none other than our ACA Athlete of the Week, Zarek Jones. Just admire this run. It's incredible. You can't bring him down in the backfield. Makes him miss.
Did he just Euro step?
He's Hemi Neutron. And then he does the celebration for good measure. Gina was 0-3 this time last year. They're now 3-0 after a 30-0 win over St. Fred.
Down in the Avoyelles, the Mustangs taking on Eunice early in the first half. Bobcats try to go on the ground, but the Avoyelles defense not giving up much, only allowing the Bobcats 1 yard. Later in the quarter, it's Eunice on the ground again, this time edging out for the first down. Game remains scoreless after 1 quarter. Second quarter now, Eunice forced the punt. 4th down, Bobcats try to place it inside the 10, but it's Arthella Augustine with the scoop and scurry. Brings the Mustangs in Bobcat territory. Avoyelles on 4th and goal. Nick Kasunge takes it himself for the first points of the game. Mustangs would later make a 2-point conversion to lead it to 8-0. But it wouldn't be long before the Bobcats take 6 on the ground again. Once again, Eunice control the grudge match. They win in week 3, 21-20.
Some other scores from around the area. Bunkie moves to 3-0 with a big win on the road against Jonesboro Hodge. And after that tough loss in week 1, Manny has bounced back to win back-to-back games. Offensive shootout up north as the Tigers win 45-42 over Houghton. We'll check this one out. Battle of the Bishop's Bowl. St. Mary's and Menard. A lot of penalties though in this one. Tigers led 12-7 at the break. Here in the third, the Menard defense all over that screen for a loss. Later in the drive, Bankston drops back, trying to direct some traffic, but instead we'll find an Eagle who makes a diving interception. But the St. Mary's defense would bail out Bankston. Ethan Busby will read this quick pass like a hawk. Wow. And he has reservations for 6. Tigers led at that point 19-7. They hold on to the Bishop's Bowl for the 3rd straight year as they hold on to win 26-13. And stay with us because our Farm Bureau Plays of the Week are up next.
The 5th Quarter Score Ticker is sponsored by Hickson Autoplex. Hickson has it.
A big game in South Louisiana tonight. Leesville and Iowa. These two teams split their two meetings last season. They met in the playoffs. Iowa won that one. So the first quarter, Iowa inside the 10. Joshua Bushnell hands it off to Cole Carbello for the short touchdown run. Puts the Yellow Jackets on the board first. Leesville answers right back, and you know who it is. It's Xavier Ford, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling 50 yards to the house to tie things up at 6. To the second quarter now, Wampus Cats looking to take a lead. And it's going to be Robbins finding Isaiah Farley, another big playmaker, for the touchdown. Leesville would score one more time in the half as they took an 18-6 lead at the break. Wampus Cats, much needed bounce back one from that loss to Gina last week. They come back and win 30-13.
Over in DeVille, it was a battle of the Panthers as Buckeye took on Pine Prairie at home, starting at the tail end of the first quarter. Buckeye with a strong 20-point lead, but Pine Prairie manages to punch one to the end to end the half 26-12. Buckeye quickly rebounds in the second quarter. Jim Berlew hustles his way into the end zone to put Buckeye up 33-12. And from here until the end of the first half, Buckeye would dominate Pine Prairie's ball, but watch this. Cole Vercher says, "I'll take that," as he makes the interception, and despite being quickly stopped by Pine Prairie, Buckeyes Christian Morris takes care of business just 4 stops later for another home team touchdown. If you thought that would be the only interception turned touchdown you'd see tonight, I got bad news.
Good news though for Buckeye.
Oh yeah.
As Chris Stanley making an incredible catch there in deep in enemy territory, making a more than 60-yard run back till he's tackled, but that put his team in prime scoring position. Of course, they do the rest. Buckeye, huge win tonight, 67-26.
And in case you missed it from our cool game of the week, Tioga's defense once again coming up with 2 scores on the night. Jacorian Norris with a career day, 2 pick-sixes, as this makes 6 defensive touchdowns this year for the Indians in 3 games. Mary Margaret Ellison caught up with Tioga's head coach Kevin Cook on just how explosive that defense has been this year.
Jacorian has spoiled us. You know, he's scored a lot of points this year. I don't know how many been on offense, but I know special teams, in particular on defense, he's scored several times this season, just in the 3 games that we've had. So, you know, he's been a pleasure. I've been actually watching him since he was really small. My son's a senior in the senior class as well. They played youth football on the same Tioga team, and it's just kind of been fun to watch him grow up.
A special night for Tioga. And look, with all the great action we've seen tonight, it's time to reveal our plays of the night presented by Farm Bureau. We go back to this one. You were here?
Oh yeah, Ash Trojans opening drive, touchdown by Darius Washington as he gets in the end zone with ease and then just points at God because he made it happen.
Look, gold jerseys, nice turf field, it looks great. But look, it's Zarek Jones. It's the Zarek Jones show all season. It looks like it's been so far. You can't bring him down ever. And he gets another touchdown, and of course the celebration caps it all off. But you've seen this play a couple times. It's play nominee number 3. It's Jacorian Norris. Any of his interceptions, he had 3 today, could have been it. But this one, the one of 2 pick-sixes in this one for Tioga as they blank Pineville 35-0. And out of our top plays, which one was the best? You tell us. We have a poll up shortly on our website. Go and vote. Voting will open all weekend long, and the winner will be revealed Sunday on Sports Night.
And from the top plays to the top athlete, who deserves to be our ACA Athlete of the Week? You can nominate your favorite athlete to be this week's winner. Just go to the Athlete of the Week page on our website and fill out our form. The winner is announced every Thursday right here on News Channel 5.
And of course, before we go, we want to thank Antoon Hospitality Group's family of restaurants for feeding our hungry crew tonight. So again, plenty more games, plenty more reaction, much more discussion from week 3. It lived up to all the hype, and we have a lot more coverage coming up on Facebook Live and our website. See you there.
Can't get enough football? KALB's 5th Quarter continues online in minutes with more highlights, post-game interviews, and analysis on KALB.com and Facebook Live. Sponsored by Christus St. Francis Cabrini Hospital.